Welcome back to some more Umineko When They Cry. So, where we last left off, Rosa decides to move all the servants to the kitchen, and that leaves only Rosa and kids. And with this whole discussion of what is it called? The wolves and sheep puzzle, I can sort of understand why Rosa has some suspicions with the servants, but from the reader's perspective, you would ask, be like, then how can you tell by Shannon or Kumasawa or Goda? Although maybe Genji and Goda could be possible bit of suspicions in a way, of the sort, but I don't know. But the fact that she paints Kanon as the culprit sort of makes me sort of like put myself in question as to like, well, how exactly? Maybe like maybe there could be a doppelganger of the sort. I don't know. That's could be my theory, but and the reason with Rosa protecting their kids is like, okay, well, I can see why, but that's a little bit too strict of the sort. Well, maybe it's more strict than what Natsuki would say, but how she talks back is kind of ridiculous. Maybe a little bit questionable, or you know, a bit ballistic, short tempered. You know. Anyway, let's continue. There were 5 humans in the kitchen, but it was very quiet, filled only with the sound of the rain. It was only accented by the sound of Shannon and Kumasawa washing the dishes. Goda was using the leftovers from breakfast and lunch as ingredients for her soup. Rosa had suspected that poison might have been added to the food, so they decided to eat canned goods, but it hadn't been too satisfying. So you would think Goda would be part of suspicion and say that he's gonna poison you guys? Like maybe they poisoned the 6 sacrifices that were chosen to be killed with poison, and before getting cut open. That's maybe, but Goda thought she was being too cautious, so he was spontaneously creating a soup to be served only to those who wanted some. Shannon and Kumasawa were washing the dishes that the food had been arranged on. On the inside, they thought maybe Godo should wash them, since he'd been the one who wanted the food arranged on plates in the first place. But they left their complaints unsaid for the time being. Genji and Nanja were facing each other across a crude chess set that had many years of experience. The game had still only just begun, and because the opening game of these experienced players had been honed to perfection, it looked like a ceremony where they just moved specified pieces in a specified order.
良い匂いですね。やはり缶詰ではこうはいきませんね。
I mean, I guess people would say canned food might as well be used for like for emergencies, but probably doesn't taste as good as when making your own food from scratch.
開封した食材だけで作りましたので、毒が混入しているなんてことはありませんよ。皆さんの分もお作りしていますので、ぜひ食べましょう。もちろん、私もお毒味しますよ。安心して召し上がってください。
本当にいい匂いですね。合田さんのまかない料理は本当に美味しいです。
美味しい材料を買ってきて、美味しい料理が作れるのは当たり前です。私は師匠に、あり合わせのもので美味しく作るまかない料理を極めてこそ、真の料理人だと習いました。
それはいい師匠でしたな。おかげで私はとても美味しいスープをごちそうになれそうです。
Now you're making me want to get some soup.
親族の皆様にお召し上がりいただくための材料で作ることになってしまったのが残念ですが。
ローザさんも朝からのいろいろでお疲れなのでしょう。無理もないことです。
Part of me thinks I already know this from now, but Rosa would have. I'm pretty sure she has emotional problems. Quote unquote trauma of the sort.
でも、
Yes.
そのおかげで、美味しい食材のスープが飲めるのですからね。
Rosa had fervently warned everyone that they didn't understand the danger they were in, and that they must assume that poison was mixed in with food. The mood at the time had led them to agree, but hunger wasn't something that could be swayed by a momentary emotion like that. So what the fuck do we eat then? Eat nothing but canned food that's gonna probably okay. Maybe I was gonna say canned food will probably taste like dirt if we eat it so often, but well, it's not. It's not like I guess I'm pretty sure there are some decent canned food out there that doesn't taste like dirt or anything, but you know, I guess it depends on everyone's taste. Momentary emotion like that.
皮肉にも、普段の私たちではとても味わえないスープとなりました。できるなら、客間の皆さんにもぜひ振る舞いたいところなのですが。
ローザ様のご指示に背いている以上、よした方がいいだろ
He has high suspicion.
う。飲みたいものだけ飲むといい。
見えないところで上手に息抜きするのも使用人の心得でございますものね。
When Kumasawa cackled, Shannon and Goda laughed too. It seemed that in this space where only their fellow servants were gathered, they could relax quite a bit. Shannon didn't like Goda's occasional dishonesty, but she knew that there was no falsehood in his childish smile, nor in his desire for people to enjoy his food. So even though it was a little aggravating to be made to wash the dishes, she couldn't really hate him. However, they couldn't have dreamed that Rosa was calling them wolves in the parlor at exactly the same moment they were spending their time peacefully like this. Uh-oh. At that time, several of the servants heard a sound like something being dragged, and then a thump. It seemed like the sound made by a servant outside the back door when they were carrying a mountain of trash bags on a rainy day, or maybe when a servant was returning from work wearing a raincoat. So at first, that sound didn't seem like anything out of the ordinary. But they soon realized. Right now, everyone was either in the kitchen or in the parlor, so who could possibly be at the back door? Ooh, spooky music. Wait, that's weird. Like one half are in the kitchen, it's just this, and then the other half are in the parlor, just Rosa and three. Who could possibly be at the back door? As all the servants all looked at each other, they checked to make sure that each one of them knew what that sound meant.
誰でございましょう。
The servants knew the mansion's layout well, so they understood how incomprehensible it would be for someone from the parlor to actually go outside in this typhoon, go all the way around, and come up to this back door. Then was it Kinzo? They couldn't imagine that Kinzo, who never left his study, would dash out into the middle of this typhoon and come to the back of the house, where only low-class people ever entered or exited.
気のせいじゃないですよね。
Surely it wasn't an illusion. Shannon and Kumasawa drew close together, fearfully looking at the back door.
どちら様ですか？
As Goda fearfully approached the back door, he called out, and his eyes flashed toward the butcher's knife that sat in the nearby sink. He didn't pick it up yet, because there was still a possibility that this was a member of the family. However, that possibility was impossible. There was no response from across the door to Goda's initial question. Maybe his voice had been so quiet that it hadn't reached through all the wind and rain outside.
源氏さん、
What do you mean that you got windows?
南條先生と女たちは下がって。
一体どなたなんですかな？
A good question. Genji took a knife with a classical design from a stationary box placed near the chess set. It was something to be used instead of a paper knife to open envelopes for statements of delivery and bills. But it was still a knife, so the blade on it could injure someone. Genji hid it in his sleeve with a well-practiced motion. Then, he approached the back door himself, giving Goda a silent nod. Goda cautiously approached the back door and slowly started to open it. Uh-oh.
あああ
The shadow of a person suddenly shuffled into sight, landed on his knee, and fell over. Goda fell backwards onto his backside and couldn't get up. That human shadow was soaked with rain, smeared with mud, and drenched with blood.
カノンくん、カノンくん。
Well,
カノン、大丈夫か？
you think he's alright?
南條先生、
What the fuck are you saying? From the looks of it, it sure has already been... That body is pretty sure already gave out already. It was Kanon. His breath was feeble, and the puddles of mud he left were quickly drenched bright red. When Nanjo held him and turned him face up, there was a deep, gruesome wound right in the center of his chest, as though he'd been stabbed there by a spear or something. Even now, deep red blood poured out from there.
これはひどいですよ。どうしましょう。救急箱ですか？救急箱ですか？
カノンさん、傷口に手を当ててしっかり押さえてください。使用人室のベッドに運びましょう。皆さん、手を貸してください。
さあ、カノンさん、しばらく我慢してください。
しっかりして。もう大丈夫よ。だから傷口から手を離さないで。
とにかく使用人室へ運ぼう。熊沢ローザ様にカノンが見つかったことの報告を。
待って。
Oh wait, he's still alive.
ローザ様にはダメ。
待ってください。カノンさんがローザ様にはダメだと言っています。
But what do you mean by that? Not Rosa. Well,
どういう意味なの、カノンくん。
今はいい。早く使用人室へ運ぼう。熊沢、ローザ様にはまだお伝えするな。カノンに事情を聞いてからにする。
What do you mean? Oh no. Now Rosa's gonna get some high suspicion over what's going on.
はい。
He had told them not to tell Rosa right after appearing in this state. This could only mean something very disquieting. An eerie anxiety rose to their faces.
さあ皆さん
Why am I getting the Oh man. If this this I feel like there's like an image in my head. Like what if Kanon actually tells those guys, "Hey, Rosa's going to turn her back on you guys," or something like that. That's what I feel like that's what Kanon would say, that that Rosa's going to go turn go against you guys because you guys are wolves or something.
急いで運びましょう早く早く
Kanon's wound was unbelievably deep, and judging from Nanjo's pale face, it was a miracle that he was still conscious.
これはひどい何か槍のようなもので刺されたようです肺まで届いてなければなんとか持つかもとにかく止血を
Well, it's not like you got healing magic or anything. No matter how much Nanjo tried to wipe off that gushing deep red blood, he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He couldn't wipe it all away. And each time the wound was aggravated, causing Kanon to cry in anguish.
カノン君カノン君カノン君しっかりしてしっかりして
南條先生替えのタオルですなんてむごい
容体はどうですか
It sure looks like he's dying.
本音を言うと生きているのが信じられん深手だ刺されどころが幸運だったのかもしれんだが出血がひどすぎる輸血が必要だが明日まで無理だ
ローサ様が僕たちを喋ら
ないでカノン君傷口が開いちゃう
ローサ様がやってきてお嬢様と僕は
なんですって
See, Kanon before he's gonna go die. He's gonna tell. I'm pretty sure he was trying to tell you guys that the Rosa is gonna. I thought Kanon's gonna tell those servants that Rosa's gonna go against for being highly suspicious. I'm pretty sure he would say that.
ローサ様がですかおおそんなことって
間違いないのか
はい間違いなくローザ様でした
さあもう喋らないで熊沢さんもう一つの救急箱を取ってください
I know he shouldn't speak because he's gonna die or something like that. But I'm pretty sure if right here in this dialogue, Kanon thinks Rosa is the bad, which maybe that was kind of the maybe I could see why how Rosa was talking like that. I don't know.
源氏さん、ローザ様が、なんてことは、あり得るのでしょうか。
What if, what if Rosa did such a thing? I wouldn't be surprised if Rosa would be the doppelganger, or considering of you know similar looks.
わからん。
Disregarding Nanjo and Kumasawa, who were struggling hard and stained with blood as they tried to stop the bleeding, Genji and Goda faced each other. Because if what Kanon had said was the truth, Rosa was the culprit who killed Jessica.
おのれローザめよくもお嬢様を
Oh, this is different. So Kanon could kill Kanon and Jessica got destroyed by Beatrice, but who could tell Kanon that? Maybe 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 Kanon is pointing the finger on Rosa because he has like a spiteful grudge towards because I remember like somewhere he said that Kanon doesn't like Rosa. So maybe that's a theory. Or that what if someone like passes on the message to someone told Kanon to pass on the message to the servant and that you got a time limit before you die. Hmm, that's two things I can think of.
殺してやる
I will kill you in caps lock. Kanon screamed even more hatefully. His hate-filled voice made it seem like he was seeing Jessica being harmed right before his eyes.
確かに、ローザ様がお嬢様を殺す理由はあるかもしれない。
Rosa may have had a reason to kill Milady. What did Rosa? What was the reason then? What is Rosa like jealous or something?
後ろ宮家が全滅すれば、遺産はすべてローザ様のもの。
There's my alarm going off.
だとしたら、バトラ様やジョージ様も危険なのでは。ローザ様は銃を持っている上に、今、客間には彼らしかいない。源氏さん、これはかなりまずいことでは。
Battler and George are in danger. Well, don't forget what did Goda forgot about Maria? Oh boy, Genji has no words. Shannon suddenly ran out into the corridor. Her expression was complex and tragic as though she didn't know what to believe. Well, why did Shannon just ran off by herself? You're gonna end up dead. Shannon ran. To where? The inside of the mansion had been scrupulously cleaned, so it probably wouldn't be easy to find. She might find it if she searched the rose garden, but they'd probably all been lost. In this wind and rain. That's right. The boiler room isn't cleaned very often. If she went there, she might be able to find it. Shannon ran downstairs to find that in the underground boiler room. Did some medicine take effect at the brink of death? Or was Kanon finally beyond feeling pain? For the time being, at least Kanon's painful gasp had subsided. Nanjo apparently didn't view this as a very good sign. He didn't let his eyes off Kanon for a second. Kumasawa firmly gripped Kanon's hand and kept encouraging him so that the willpower keeping him alive didn't fade away. Genji and Goda seemed uncertain how to respond to the truth Kanon had risked his life to deliver.
ローザ様の銃は確か4発か5発の弾が込められたはずだ。
Not like her gun has any more bullets to reload.
決して少ない数ではないですね。でもあの銃は弾の装填に結構な慣れが必要だったはず。一発目は撃たせてしまうかもしれませんが、みんなで襲いかかれば次を撃たせずに銃を奪い取れるかも。
この島には医者はいても薬はなく、病院もない。撃たれどころが悪ければ死ぬぞ。
それは分かっていますが、それより早く行動を起こさないとまた次の事件が起こる可能性も。私たちはローザ様にうまく追い出された気がします。
Here's another dumb theory I could say. You think Kanon got impaled like it was from a spear? Nah, it looked like Rosa fucking shot him. So. Oh man, I always love to make like dumb theories out of my own ass, just to fuck around. It seems to me that Rosa-sama managed to cleverly chase us out.
今頃ジョージ様やバトロ様が殺されている可能性も。
No words from Genji.
そんな危険な相手なら無理に刺激しない方がいいんじゃありませんか。
I mean, I'm pretty sure we already know how Rosa will be.
しかし明日までは長い。どんな手を打ってくるか想像もつきませんよ。源氏さん、こちらから仕掛けるべきです。せめて銃さえ理由をこじつけて奪えばなんとかなるかも。
How are you gonna steal the gun for her? Man, I'm gonna put some real dumb, realistic logic into this. Rosa's mental health was way too unstable for her to even for her to arm the gun. I'm gonna put this out right now. Feel me on that?
弾は4、5発じゃありませんか。ということは私たち全員を殺すには足りないということです。うかつに刺激しなければきっとローザ様もむやみには。
あいつは言ったよ。僕たちを皆殺しにすると言った。
Uh-oh. Oh shit. It's like it's it's because remember that because Kanon's freaking spirit just overheard everything. Oh boy. Kanon, who they thought was sleeping quietly, suddenly started talking brightly, though almost as though he'd been awake this whole time and had suddenly opened his mouth. Kanon looked firm and steady, which relieved Nanjo a bit, but considering the depth of that wound, he couldn't wipe away a certain creepy feeling. He knew because he was a doctor. After losing so much blood, Kanon might easily have lost consciousness, and yet, somehow, he was still intensely aware of his surroundings. Was it youth? Or was it tenacity? Sometimes the power of human life surpassed common knowledge. While stopping the bleeding, Nanjo had groped around a bit inside the bleeding hole with tweezers, making sure there were no foreign objects inside the affected area. And the great depth of the wound had shocked him. It had certainly reached as far as his lungs. And yet, no, but the fact that he's still alive is wonderful. But Kanon had spoken clearly, hatefully stated that the one named Rosa beat this wound, cursing and raging, over and over and over.
あいつは親方様の財産を独り占めするために、台風が過ぎ去るまでにどんな手を使ってでも皆殺しにする気なんだ。
Yo, what the heck? This isn't something new I see from Kanon. What? It's like he wasn't even as like he's dead or anything, but was there like a clone of Kanon? Was there like a decoy? Oh, there's no way. I wish I could laugh at this part, but oh my goodness. Excuse me.
あいつはそうするとはっきり僕に言ったよ。
くそ、なんて人だ。源氏さん、どうしましょう。私たちにも何か武器がいるのでは。
にわかには信じられん。ローザ様がそのようなことを。
It's hard to believe to think that Rosa would say something like that. Nah. I bet some demon possessed Kanon turned him back to life, and or was it Kanon's demon that controlled him, saying this allegation because he hates Rosa.
源氏様、信じる信じないじゃない。あいつが僕にそう言ったんですよ。この僕が聞いたんです。どうして信じてくれないんですか？
Why won't you believe?
起きないで。傷に触ります。
Kanon sat up on the bed, speaking to Genji, who didn't seem to be willing to believe Kanon's story.
あいつは僕たちを必ず全員殺す。もうきっと客間の方々も殺されているに違いありません。僕らが先に殺さなければ必ず僕らが先に殺される。
To kill or be killed the situation.
僕が先に殺されたようにみんなも先に殺される。殺さなきゃ殺される。
It's exactly what I said.
殺さなきゃ殺される。殺さなきゃ殺される。
カノンさん、あんた本当に痛くないのか？
ああ、これですか。大した傷じゃありません。
大した傷じゃないどころか、あんたは。
I was like, how is he getting up from all this?
本当に大したことありません。
Are you for real?
こんなのもう全然痛くないし、本当に大した傷じゃない。
As Kanon said that, he began to untie the bandages that had been painstakingly wrapped. The gruesome hole in his chest was immediately exposed.
カノンさん、 そんなことをしてはダメですよ。早く横になって。
大丈夫ですって。ほらねえ、大した傷じゃないでしょ。
Kanon showed off his gaping wound, which was still slowly spitting out foamy blood. Everyone averted their eyes reflexively.
ほら、全然大した傷じゃないですって。
I can't tell if I find it amusing or creepy by this.
やめなさい。傷をいじってはいけません。
ほら見て、全然深い傷じゃないんですよ。ほらほら。
Kanon held up 2 fingers, showed them to everyone, and slowly started to stick them into the gruesome wound right in the center of his chest. Plunging, slimy, squishy, wet. The fingers went in deep, all the way to their bases. Oh, they just had to put in the sound effects. Squish, bloop, bloop.
カノンさん、やめて、やめて。
Yeah, what the hell's going on? You're about to give her a heart attack. Those fingers were sticking all the way into his chest, up to their bases, and then he slowly pulled them out in exactly the same way. The fingers he pulled out were stained a sticky, solid, deep red color, and there was even a thread hanging. The fingers were covered up to their bases in deep red.
あんた、一体。
What in the world?
ね、全然大した傷じゃないでしょ。
Where have I heard this cackle before? At that moment, the door was slammed open and Shannon appeared. Even after she saw Kanon, stained with fresh blood, her impregnable expression didn't falter.
やあ姉さん、どこへ行っていたの？僕が危篤だというのに、一体どこへ？
ボイラー室に行ってきたの。探し物があって。
What did you find?
それより確かめたいの。あなたは本当にカノン君？
It was only natural. Everyone believed he was Kanon, so they couldn't understand the meaning of Shannon's question. You couldn't even tell? You easily believe him despite the red eyes? Like, what? So they couldn't understand the meaning of Shannon's question. When they looked, they noticed that Shannon was holding a handkerchief in her hand. It was filthy and looked like it had been used to wipe up some trash or dust. And while holding that, she approached Kanon, drawing closer to his feet.
なんだい、それは。
クモの巣を拭き取ったハンカチよ。
なんでそんなものを？
カノン君なら平気だろうけど、もしあなたにとってクモが天敵だったなら嫌うかなって思って。
Oh! Because spiders is Kanon's... Wait, spiders are his natural fear. So she's just she's doing... Oh my goodness. She's testing this to make sure if Kanon is real or not. No words.
やだな。 僕がどうして雲を嫌うの？
ごめん。試すね。
シャノンさん。
When Shannon brought that handkerchief close to Kanon's thigh, something happened in an instant. It happened all at once. The human eye couldn't have followed it. Kanon jumped like a wild goat, fleeing from the thing Shannon was holding. Then, from his arm, some kind of afterglow flashed purple and drew a curve through space. That arc, which drew three beautiful purple curves, traced across the throats of Nanjo and Kusawa, who had been tending to him. And in an instant, Nanjo's and Kumasawa's throat opened like gaping mouths, and then the blood really started spewing out. The third purple curve should have traced across Shannon's throat, but Shannon wasn't there, because Genji, who had been behind her, had wrapped his own arm around Shannon's neck to hold her back. This all happened in an instant. In the instant it took Goda to think fast in an attempt to understand the scene, the frozen moment in time shattered. Oh my, what? Oh shit. Blood was gushing from Nanjo and Kumasawa's torn open neck. Kanon jumped and picked off a picture frame that had been hanging from the wall behind him, springing forward just like a cat and aiming for Shannon's throat again. But Kanon's target once again disappeared from in front of him, because Genji had pulled Shannon again and the two of them had fallen to the ground in a defensive crouch.
いい反射神経だ。この老いぼれ家具が。
ゴダ
Even Goda was no fool. Even if he couldn't fully understand what was going on, he at least realized that if this Kanon wasn't seized, his own life would also be in peril. He sprung at Kanon with his huge body, pushing him up against the wall with all his weight and physical strength. Damn! You really think you can go up against Kanon with a lethal weapon?
離せ！このデカブツが！
Wow, he called Goda a fat ass. Another purple curve was drawn from the tips of the fingers on Kanon's right hand. And when he raised that hand like a sword, aiming for Goda's back, there was a loud thunk. Because Kanon's raised hand had been pinned to the wall, he couldn't tear his palm away from the wall. Sticking out from it was the knife Genji had thrown. Under normal circumstances, it would have been surprising to see someone as old as Genji handle a knife so skillfully. But in this abnormal space, no one paid it much mind.
源氏様、これを。
Genji took the handkerchief with the spider web stuck to it from Shannon, and he approached Kanon, who was pinned to the wall by Goda's massive body in the night.
やめろ。それを近づけるな。やめろ。やめ。
When Genji pushed the handkerchief up against Kanon's face, there was a sound just like setting meat on a red-hot iron plate. Of course, the smell was the same too. As he was horribly burned, festering in filthy red and black and crying out in his death throes, Kanon's body burst open and scattered. It was almost as though a balloon filled with gold leaf had popped. The entire servant room was completely buried under a storm of gold leaf. No, a cloud of gold butterflies. Those butterflies began to softly fade as though into water, or rather into the empty air itself. And afterwards, all that was left was the 3 survivors sitting on their butts, stained with blood. However, not everyone was merely stained with blood. Some of them were lying on the ground, spurting out blood themselves.
熊沢、南條先生。
Oh no. Those 2 are dead. Slits so sharp they looked like they cut your finger if you touched them opened wide, and large amounts of blood kept pouring out.
何だったんだ。いや、今のは。
ゴーダ、怪我はないか。
私は大丈夫です。しかし、私たちは何を見たんだ。
Oh, I'm fine. I'm okay, but what the hell did we just saw?
何があったんです。
Yeah, Goda sure is fine because he was being a badass.
私はあれを確かにこの手でこの壁に押し付けていたのに、その私が何があったのか理解できない。
Goda looked at his own hand. The bright red blood left from his scuffle with Kanon definitely remained, and yet Kanon was nowhere to be seen because he had disappeared. He had transformed into gold butterflies and scattered. Goda kept screaming alone without a clue about what was going on. Shannon sobbed in front of Nanjo's and Kumasawa's remains as Genji washed over her, silent and dull. My goodness. The time moved? No, it didn't. Devil's Proof. Sunday, October 5th.
南條先生と熊沢さんが
Devil's Proof. Sunday, October 5th, 1986. It is 1:17 p.m. 1317 or something of the sort.
一体どういうことなの？
Well, let's see if they updated the character, though. Well, he's already dead, isn't he? Kumasawa Chiyo died in the servant, her throat slit by a sharp blade or something similar. Finishing touches yet to come. Died in the servant room. His throat slit by a sharp blade or something similar. But this alone wasn't enough. Nope. 3 servants are alive, remaining. Kumasawa died and then the family died.
ああ、シャノン、無事でよかった。君に何かあったら僕は。
庄司様。ジョージ君、少し静かにして。あなたたちの目の前で殺人が行われたんでしょう。犯人を見たの？見ないの？
それが何と説明すればいいのか。
Well, how the hell can you explain when you see something that was fantasy?
源氏さん。
Like, Genji, help me out here.
私たちに見たものをうまく説明できません。
It's like we were attacked by an assassin.
確かにそれは私たちの目の前で起こりました。私の目の前にいた。だけれどあれは何だったんだ。 私にもわからないんです。
何を言ってるの？あなたが出会ったのは昨夜から所在不明の魔女ベアトリーチェか、行方不明になっているカノン君かのどちらかしかありえない。男か女か、それだけでも答えられるでしょう。
ローザおばさん、少し落ち着けって。目の前で2人やられりゃ誰だって混乱だってする。
Not really confused. It's like how can we explain when it's just like poof?
ゴダさん、ゲンジさん、焦らなくていいぜ。何があったのか順を追って話してくれ。
それが何を私は言えばいいのか。
No words. Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san had been killed. We understood that much. And it seemed that it had occurred in front of these people's eyes. But even so, they spoke awkwardly. They admitted that they had definitely seen the crime with their own eyes. But when asked to explain what they had seen, their mouths went suddenly shut. I couldn't understand why Aunt Rosa was irritated and flaring up.
シャノン、君は見たのかい？南條先生が襲われるところを。
はい。
僕に教えて。分かることだけでもいい。一体何があったの？
勝手口に来たんです。
そうです。勝手口に誰かがやってきたんです。そして誰だろうと私は扉を開けました。
勝手口に誰か？それは誰？
最後まで言わせてやれ。それから
そいつは血まみれで大怪我をしていました。
Well, it sure was someone that was like temporarily revived or something.
私たちは使用に室に運び、すぐに南條先生が手当てをしました。そのとても深い傷でした。
だからそれは誰のことなの？
わからないんです。確かに最初はそうだと思っていました。いや、今でもそうだと思ってるんです。でもあれは一体わからない、わからない。
In a manner that didn't match his large body, Goda held his head and scratched at it. I didn't have a clue if he was confused because he couldn't remember, or because he'd seen something terrifying and couldn't accept it. And Shannon looked the same way. If she let her guard down, what she'd seen just a short while ago would quickly melt away like a daydream, and she wouldn't be able to remember anything. That's what she looked like. Only Genji looked composed as usual, though the questions were naturally directed at him. However, even Genji took quite some time before he spoke. He had to gather his thoughts.
源氏さん、あなたは見たんでしょう。勝手口に来たのは誰？
はじめ、私たちはその人物がカノンであると信じました。
It definitely wasn't the real legitimate one. From how he acted.
ほら、やっぱり生きていたでしょ。私の推理は正しかった。
初めはってことは、後にその認識は変わるってこと？
その後に起こったことは口では説明できません。南條先生と熊沢を殺し、そして姿を消しました。その時彼は間違いなくカノンではありませんでした。
Well, I mean, there's no way the real Kanon would do something stupid like that.
そうなんです。源氏さんの言う通りなんですよ。口ではとても説明できない。
君も同じ意見なのかい？
はい、私も同じことしか申し上げられません。
No words from Badler. Well, I think this is a good time to stop from here. This is pretty, this was interesting. So what is the total of characters that kill off this time? 10. So 1, 2, 2. There's 8 remaining, and then there's Beatrice just sitting there. Interesting. Oh yeah. Aside from that, next part. Let's continue more of this later. What happens after the situation of the Kumasawa and Nanjo killed off. So, like, comment, and subscribe, and see you guys later. Have a good one.